Hello, team, and welcome back to another Line War cast. Look at your map. This is your map. Top Red Island actually has 2 cities on it. Main landmass at the top has 5 gases. We can see that Animorph, who's in blue, is doing this land bridge across on the left side of the map. I'm not sure where valithor is going. Right here. valithor, aka Solstice, aka 7 Airport, aka the I think third best player in the world right now, whatever the leaderboard says, is in red on this little island. Animorph is in I love this position for Animorph. I mean, I super like doing these kind of land bridges. So you pick these territories, and then you also pick the water territory, and then the land territory on the other side of the water, which I'm a big fan of. It allows you to get like a very greedy start if you can have like barracks on both land masses. But for now, Animorph's going 1 barracks on the landmass that valithor has, and then 3 barracks or 4 barracks, pardon me, and a factory on the bottom of. I think context is I think this is one of Animorph's first games back since the new patch. So keep that in mind. Animorph won't know that valithor is on this landmass, and valithor won't know that Animorph is on this landmass. We can look at both players' lines to get an idea of what's going on. valithor is going for a very quick commando drop, which is a super nice strat. valithor definitely has done this before. They've played us on stream, that's a plug, with the commando drop before and just ruined us with it. So here it goes. So the idea is that, I mean, in general, I think valithor's looking to cap this, right? Kind of doing a scout and then also a cap. So when this lands, it's going to be interesting to see how valithor responds to Animorph being there. Like, that's definitely the main base. valithor's got 2 factories behind this, the 2 barracks just going for commandos entirely, which is enough. I think like the 1 transport plane, if this is a 1 transport plane build, 2 barracks worth of commandos is gonna overwhelm the capacity of the transport plane. So let's see what the next plane is. I guess this is just the transport plane, which is kind of wild. I didn't realize that valithor would do this off of 1 airport. Generally, I've been playing with 2 airports, even with the commando drop going 2 airport commando drop. So I wonder if this is actually the play. It's a very smart build because it allows you, instead of going to the 2nd airport, you can put down more land units, which is in this case another factory and a barracks for valithor. This is valithor's view, so we're gonna see them figure out that Animorph is here, and the view that they get of all the buildings, they can see that it's 1 factory and 3 barracks immediately. I think these commandos will probably just leave. Yeah, they're definitely going to try to get out of here instead of just attacking the SAMs or trying to attack the buildings. This is a huge landmass, right? So it all connects. So it's in some ways, it's a race to see who can get to the bottom first, which valithor definitely has a little bit of an advantage. Income-wise, valithor's at 368, and Animorph's at 380, so a little bit of a lead, but pretty negligible at this point. This factory just whipping a SAM around. I love this graphical bug when the factory just has the unit flying around. I don't really know what valithor's going to do with these 2 commandos. It really just going to be try to get out of here. Yeah, but Animorph's already in position for the classic spot that the commandos would run to. So after the 2 transport planes, valithor is following up with the striker. This is probably going to be strikers from here on out. Not here on out, but like rather for the next little bit. And I think this is a very good follow-up to it. More SAMs for valithor, so there's no way that if Animorph had opened up for some sort of airports or commando drop themselves, that it's gonna make it a lot more difficult by having these SAMs here. That being said, Animorph's got a good grouping of 3 SAMs in the forest. I love that, especially because they know that valithor's got an airport. And I don't suspect with 2 barracks that this is going to be much of a fight. because with artillery and now potentially even strikers coming into the fold for valithor, it's going to be very difficult for Animorph to hold this. Even though they kind of could dig in the mountains, still, it's just like a quantity over quality problem at this point. Let's check the econ again. 428 for valithor and 452 for Animorph. And I'm interested to see the micro of Animorph. Like, how on earth do you get yourself out of this? I will be shocked if by 10 minutes in the game, Animorph still has this peninsula. We also got one striker right now. The second one's on its way. And holy cow, these two commandos actually made it through. They somehow these four infantry must have moved, because there's no way they could have actually fought. I don't think. SMG of the commandos going nuts. 440 income for valithor and 470 for Animorph. So in general, a commando, which is this little person with a parachute on their back, the ones that were dropped out of the transport jet earlier for valithor, they can fight 2 for 1 against infantry, as in 6 commandos will beat 12 infantry. Obviously, micro kind of comes into it, but in general, that's my understanding of the math. And so yeah, this is definitely crumbling a little bit for Animorph. A dock for Animorph, which I really like. Where is this? Yeah, right here. Okay, so this is the answer. Animorph realizes that this position is going to fall. There's enough of investment on this side of the water that Animorph feels like they need to get units across, build a transport jet or a transport boat, and then move units across. Which might be the play. This might actually be enough to be able to handle this. I think 2 strikers are going to ultimately be able to take down this barracks. valithor is target firing this. So they're not gonna, these strikers aren't gonna try to deal with the SAMs, which is good for valithor because it's gonna get rid of this barracks pretty quick. And in the south of the map, which is the real important part, valithor's got there first, but Animorph has a ton of infantry because of this 4 barracks start. Which there's really only 3 barracks for valithor pouring into the bottom. So that's an interesting part to watch, because that is the majority of the map, really. I mean, this bottom part of the map is so much economy, especially because it feeds into this right side. 512 income for valithor and 536 for Animorph. So very close. A little bit of a lull in the action. valithor is going for another commando drop. We see the transport jet moving. And this is this cool big Basantos drop, as we call it, where you drop commandos out of the transport jet right on top of a producer with a striker as support. This is definitely going to get the job done. I mean, valithor is for sure going to take out at this barracks. There's no way this doesn't work. And with the second barracks not even quite made yet, Animorph's not going to be able to keep this position. The first transport jet or boat is up, and it's actually a lot of infantry that's waiting to go across. So maybe if this transport boat can move quick enough, it actually could reinforce this and potentially save this second barracks that is kind of now building, which would be a huge win for Animorph. Animorph's prioritizing going to the right, which is definitely the play, because they want to cut off valithor and get rid of their territory that they've captured, because it will help their economy. It takes away from valithor while also giving to Animorph. We saw that valithor has another barracks in the bottom, which is going to help. Wow, is this the play? No, okay. No, it's I mean, it is the play. It's definitely a good play by Animorph to get reinforcements over here, but I thought for a second that the barracks would actually live, which would have been a huge deal. valithor's... I wonder where the transport jets are going to go next. You can kind of look. this is the line of where all the planes can go for valithor, right? So the red line is the transport plane with commandos. Blue line is strikers and interceptors, and the green line is helicopters. So really, I mean, the commandos could even be dropped down here. I don't really know what the play is. How to use these transport jets now that there's no real obvious place to drop them. Second barracks for valithor. This is going to help in this mountain, but in some sense, I think valithor actually needs to defend in this mountain range at this point, because this is a ton of infantry for Animorph. This is almost a comical amount of infantry to be in the south, and it's really because of this 4 barrack start. Maybe not comical, but it is quite a bit compared to what valithor has down here. A third transport boat. This is big, because this will begin to be enough units that they could even just try to take a fight with this artillery, I guess. Absolutely wild. Valithor's following up with another barracks at 620 economy. Animorph's at 656, pardon me, so it's pretty much tied. 668 now. And another factory, probably in the south. I love it. That's very good for Animorph, I think, especially because there's enough barracks here. There's enough fodder to get in front of the artillery. What a wild match. This northern fight is pretty interesting. There's enough SAMs here that Animorph can kind of deal with this many strikers. 5 SAMs is going to be able to deal with 3 strikers, and I don't think valithor has any more. Yeah, so it's only 3 for now, right? It's only 1 airport from valithor. And with missile boats too, this is what I was kind of hoping Animorph would go for, is these missile boats, because if you could get them in this little bay, it naturally allows you to take this total left side of this choke point. So I'm interested, like, let's see where this goes. Unfortunately, I can't click on the building to see what's being produced, but I think it's transport boats and missile ships. We talked earlier about how commandos can take on 2 infantry, so Animorph definitely has the numbers advantage right here. They're following up with another factory. I bet it's just to the left of the screen, and it is. And that's going to pack a big punch in the south of this map. valithor has 3 barracks majorly defending, and I guess the strikers can get this far. So they'll actually be able to help. So that isn't a clear-cut win for Animorph. I thought with those 2 factories that would be slowly start to swing in their direction. You can go big picture here a little bit. I wonder when valithor follows up with another airport, but with this much money at 644 economy, Animorph now has 100 more. And I think it's really just because this bottom has gone so well for Animorph. This is good for valithor. Now there's like the infantry are thinning out to the point that this will slowly turn in valithor's favor here. Great defensive line. There's no way you can rush this with any amount of infantry or artillery. And here we go. Animorph's going for an airport at this point. Probably to try to deal with that defensive line. And this is perfect. This is really well played from both players, really, when it comes down to it. But like Animorph's moving these in a perfect direction, and unfortunately for valithor, this is going to be like right on top of this airstrip. With 4 SAMs and a few commandos and infantry defending this, maybe. Yeah, I think maybe valithor will be able to hold on there, but it's still annoying for sure. And if Animorph gets to the right side of this southern kind of peninsula, whatever we're going to call the geographic feature, it's definitely not good for valithor, because that's going to be a lot of economy. Good cleanup from red here. Only 1 SAM gets across. That'll be cleaned up pretty easily. With this many artillery, this is a great read from valithor to just go for it. to clear this out with this much artillery and this much fodder, as long as the infantry doesn't somehow, like the commandos and these 3 infantry in the back, I guess, don't really matter, but as long as all the commandos don't get cleaned up magically immediately and then leave the artillery totally undefended, this is going to be an easy cleanup. Even if the infantry all died, this is such an amount of artillery that they're going to do very well no matter what on the ground. 656 income for valithor, 800 for Animorph now, who is kind of is cut off this bottom part of the mountain range. This is a scary concave. But valithor has to fight back, and I think valithor knows that, because this far right side is going to become a problem. Can valithor commando drop this? I guess they could. I guess he could. I know it's a he at this point. I guess valithor could drop on the bottom right there with the commandos, but at the same time, like, you have to keep some of them at home to deal with drops, and then also to feed into this. It's a wild play. Animorph's making this very hard to defend. Certainly going to be a cleanup. This is enough artillery. The 3 missile boats are going to become a huge problem for valithor, because this is... How do you defend this without the help of strikers? I don't think there is a way, especially like with the heavy factory units of Animorph showing up now. It's going to be very hard to defend the south. Maybe some of the artillery could get to the bottom now. There's artillery going to the bottom for valithor. That slowly will get to this mountain range and be able to defend this. And maybe valithor could do something sneaky with like an airstrip over here that can hit these factories. But there's, I mean, that's asking for a lot to be able to have that much money. Animorph's breaking out a little bit onto the right side of the map. It's nothing too serious yet. And 2 airport from Animorph. Certainly when Animorph gets this second or both these airports up and running with a number of strikers, it's going to be very difficult for valithor to deal with, because there's no SAMs. There's no anti-air in this little choke here. This is a tough spot. This has officially entered the territory where it's going to be impressive if valithor can come back, I think. 860 income for Animorph, 680 for valithor. Yeah. This is interesting. This is wild. Certainly two airports full of strikers is going to hurt a lot. So here comes an airstrip. Where... Or another airport. What is that noise? Still going to use the build... Yeah, so it's another airstrip. I thought it was an airstrip. You can see the little yellow bulldozer making the airstrip. How cute is that? That's a decent angle, I think. So these planes could get down here and be able to help out with this choke too, potentially. And to Animorph's credit, I think at 6 minutes into the game, I said I'd be surprised if they held this little left part of the North Island past like 10 minutes. And it's 19 minutes, and only now valithor's fully cleaned it up. Which now I'm thinking about all the times in my games where someone's held me up in one part of the map, and I understand why I've lost. Because in the meantime, Animorph has capped so much of the south and really got the advantage in this part of the map. That being said, valithor's doing a great job with commandos to cap and take back this territory. These commandos are in a lot of trouble because they're about to get cut off potentially, and it's, I guess, with this many units, if not all of Animorph's units fight at once, these commandos are going to be able to actually do a decent job. Trying to look at Animorph's attack command here. Yeah, it's a massive commandos that are just plowing right now. 4 strikers so far for Animorph. And a navy being built. This is a lot of boats from Animorph, which is interesting. Because you'd think then Animorph wouldn't be able to have as many units on the ground, but I guess their economy just allows this to happen. If valithor can cap back a lot of these things with these commandos, because every time that they take a territory from blue, not only does their income increase, but blue's drops, right? So it's very good for them. And if valithor can get commandos behind enemy lines or potentially on production, Animorph's starting to go for industry already. They have a farm and a lumber camp. The classic industries. So if the commandos in the backlines could be big. Animorph's got the right idea. Because this cruiser can snipe this gas for sure. Cruisers are decent at killing buildings, and with 5 strikers showing up as well. I mean, this is definitely gonna die. Even if these 5 SAMs were in position, like fully, they're gonna get probably 2 strikers here potentially. But it's so quick. The cruiser doesn't even do anything, and now valithor is, I almost want to say, out of gas. And also, unfortunately for valithor, they didn't get any of the strikers here. That's just unlucky, really, when it comes down to it. Animorph's doing a great job to shore up this southern lead by going for 3 barracks in the bottom. That'll be able to help like push this back and take all this back from these commandos. Pretty good fight in the south, but ultimately I think Animorph's going to take that. And the big deal is these airports, like all these strikers. Low gas noise for Animorph. They're going to need a second gas at some point with the 2 docks and 2 airports. And I guess this is why it becomes important for Animorph to cap this. We can hear another farm for Animorph. On 952 economy, valithor is 848, so valithor is doing a good job to come back on the eco. This is a lot of boats for Animorph. It really is just production buildings in the bottom. There's 2 factories and 3 barracks in the south. So it's hard, I think, for valithor to keep up with 4 barracks in the south, and all the factory units are coming from the top. This will be a huge amount of force when valithor gets all those units that were capping the northern island, like the left side of the island. This north left, holy cow. This part of the island. All these units are finally going to get to the bottom. And that's a lot. And that'll be the point where I think it's a make or break moment for valithor. If this push can work, they might be in a decent spot. He might be in a decent spot. 860 income for valithor, 960 for Animorph. I love this barracks right here from valithor. This is very good. I mean, look at all this economy, right? And lucky for valithor, they've caught, it's only 5 infantry. Oh, pardon me, 9 infantry on the right side of the map. So very quickly you can get enough units out of a barracks to deal with that. Animorph's out of gas, but these strikers are probably going to be able to get at least 1 volley in here. Yeah, I love this line from valithor to go around these missile ships. Line commanding these strikers from this point. The black plumes that we see are the cruiser out of gas. So when they do that, for the next 5 seconds, they take like 50% more damage. I think that's the math. Same thing with all the planes, like anything that does that would take 50% more damage. What's wild is that this would look like a big W for Animorph right now. Maybe not anymore. I didn't realize they could see the reinforcements. But the point being that it doesn't look like there's a lot here, but I mean, about what, 10 artillery pieces are about to show up magically. Commandos are great because they're stealthed a little bit. Right, so I think it's only commandos out of this bottommost barracks. We can see what Animorph sees, right? So these two infantry are hanging out, and all Animorph can see is that the units are getting attacked. And hear that they're getting attacked, when in reality there's 3 commandos here. Very tough to deal with. The cruiser on the water, I think the artillery attacking the cruiser is going to be... Like, the artillery will be able to clean up the cruiser over time. I don't know how effective the trades are, so let's just watch for science. Cruiser gets 1 of the artillery pieces. This was definitely only 2 artillery shooting at the cruiser for the first little bit. That's something to note. Does the cruiser get 3 artillery here? What a wild fight. Wow, 3 artillery. Full airport for Animorph. This is a lot of strikers. Yeah, this is 2 full airports of strikers that are about to show up here for Animorph. And they're going to wipe, I think, pretty much all the artillery pieces because there's no SAMs for valithor. So none of the missiles are going to be wasted on a SAM. It's all going towards the artillery. Yeah, what is this? So it's like 11 artillery, I think. Striker Tomahawk missiles taking out 5 on the first run, 6 even. I can't count. You're finding out I can't count. A lot. Quite a few. I mean, enough to skew the numbers again now. So this is in Animorph's favor. 998 income for valithor. Or pardon me. For Animorph. So valithor's ahead on income. This is wild, and this is a great play. Oh, imagine if valithor can get this up in time, this defensive line, to protect these 2 barracks. Because impressively, valithor's actually got back economically in this game with this commando drop. Well, I forgot about this this top right island. That's a great play. And with 2 cities on that island, it's actually good for valithor, because the longer the game goes, the more they could invest in that economy. Animorph hasn't tried to land again. It might be interesting for them to do so. I like this play from valithor because these boats are definitely annoying. These missile boats are annoying. You gotta get them out of the way. Because with them out of the way, valithor can actually do things like attack these airports. Or take a more direct route to the conflict in the south. Commandos against commandos. There's more commandos for blue, so blue is going to win that fight. And this is unfortunate for valithor, and they know it. These commandos are sprinting back to try to defend this. I think that many commandos kind of caught valithor off guard, and why wouldn't there? You know, like 15 commandos show up. Valithor's getting the 2nd airport. There's one... Oh, actually, yeah, there's 1 farm. 2 farms on the north that valithor has built. He's going to lose the bottom right. Unfortunately. At least for now, because that's enough commandos. These strikers aren't quite going to be able to hit it, I don't think. Like, they're going to get a few, but they're not going to get the ones on the furthest inland. I'm so interested. No, unfortunately for valithor, there's no way that they're going to be able to... He's going to be able to keep this. Animorph's only going commandos in the bottom, so we're really seeing the power of, like, commandos being the capping force. Another barracks from valithor, I like that. 1034 income for Animorph and 1012 for valithor, so this is starting to swing back and forth. It's really this bottom right, I think that is the huge thing. Whoever controls that is going to win the game. With this many strikers... Animorph can make sure that valithor doesn't develop these gases easily at least, without committing a bunch of SAMs. Perfect. We actually have a skull command, so the commandos on the far right for valithor honorably discharge themselves for an upkeep deduction. 1,000 money on the dot for valithor, and 1,100 for Animorph, who's putting another factory very close. And this might be, if this factory gets up and Animorph can cut this off entirely, I think that's the nail in a coffin, especially because the 2 barracks for valithor got sniped. Really, at this point, and this is the play, right? valithor can only commando drop here, which is huge. There's still 2 transport planes that could definitely ferry quite a few commandos over. Town and the lumber camp and the 2 farms for Animorph. That's tough. And has Animorph even built an airstrip? I don't think they have. So it's just the same. It's not that many strikers, but it's just enough. 3 SAMs for valithor at the bottom now. Unfortunately, with 2 factories, it's hard for valithor to commit more to SAM production, because if valithor stops artillery production, he's gonna just straight up lose in the south, right? So it's kind of it's a tough spot to deal with those strikers. This is so many commandos. This is a wild amount of commandos. It's at least like 10 trips of planes for valithor to drop here. And yeah, now it's starting to happen. Animorph feels that this is the position where they can begin to ferry units across and retake that first spot that we were fighting on in this map. And I think this time they're going to be able to take it. What wild game. Absolutely wild game. valithor's dropped below 1,000 income, and Animorph's at 1163. And Animorph can already see this in vision. Yeah, this is tough. The planes themselves are going to be able to deal with this. But really, that's the gas that valithor has to take with this many planes. Taking this is useless, especially because all the docks can actually reach it and just walk up and snipe it themselves. Just really well played by both players. Okay, a bunch of strikers versus a bunch of SAMs. This is typically how I feel my SAM engagements, or like my striker engagements go. I end up running them in a bunch of SAMs. Holy cow, does that striker go down too? Yeah, it does. Wow, unfortunate. So all of them go out, 2 of them come back. On the other hand, Animorph snipes that. $1,260 income now for Animorph. 900 for valithor, who is rapidly losing the top left. The far right. I really like this commando drop play. I mean, this could... If these were constantly going, and this happens, another barracks to help, and valithor does this, digs in the mountains, there's still a chance. The thing that's going to be the kicker is that all this in the top left, there's really no answer. There's no way to defend this. There's too much. And it's such a quick reinforcement for Animorph. Yeah, wild game. Okay, well, I'll start. We can see in the, you know, spoilers. We can see that the game is about to end with the green line. But very well played by both players. Super cool. I'm just thinking about all the different ways this could have gone. I think it was very close. Who's deleting what? Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, how cute is this? With the C4 charges on the airstrips. Valithor's getting rid of the airstrips to make more money. And also in a theatric display of fireworks, I think. Does this plane's taking off from an airport that's about to get blown up. Good game. Well played to both. Super fun. Thanks for watching. Join the Line War Discord if you want to see more games like this. There's a match replays channel, which Animorph posted this one in. Check out Twitch if you want to see people play the game. I stream over there, SodaQuackers, other folks do too. But regardless, enjoy yourself. Good luck, have fun. Have a great night, day, evening, whatever it is. We'll see you later. Peace.